Hey everyone, this is Mistress Mara, and today I want to talk about why I do not switch or sub. So, I actually started out as a professional submissive because I didn't know anything about BDSM. I was never in the lifestyle. What had happened was BDSM elements have come across into my life when I was studying in college, but I never really thought about it. I just had cuffs given to me for birthday presents. Foot fetish event cards were passed to me during Halloween. But again, it was just, fleeting until I got out of college and got a corporate job and realized that I can't stand being vanilla. I was bored. So I was working in LA and I looked up BDSM clubs, and this one local dungeon popped up, and I decided to give them a call. But because I didn't have any background in BDSM, they wanted me to start from the bottom, which was totally fine because I respect that. I would rather learn how all the toys feel, learn how people play, because different people play differently, and just to kind of test out what my personal pain tolerance was and what my limits are, because I didn't know. So that was a very intensive over 3.5 years, but my personality was never submissive. I mainly saw myself as bottoming and obviously learning from the experience. Now, I think it's really interesting because I know a lot of dominant women and who dominate professionally, and yet a lot of them may not say this out loud, but even at the dungeon that I was working at, I found it interesting that they were submissive to their partners, and only their partners, in bed, when they played, etc. But professionally, they would dominate everybody else, and they would not switch or sub. And most of the time, the women who would submit to their partner is mainly male. So I was like, interesting. As for myself, I'm a very fluid player. My personal life is completely different from my professional life. And I honestly don't care what gender you are, as long as we mesh and have a chemistry between the both of us, and we're interested in the same fetishes. I feel like a lot of people are about, female supremacy, or, I'm a male dom, so you're a woman and you should be naturally submissive. It's like, no, I don't take part on both sides. I respect what women have made of themselves in this profession. But you know what? I respect men who do it too, because it's hard. You have to cultivate your own world, and then you have to market it and get people interested into why it is you're doing what you're doing and why they should spend the money to experience that with you. In my case, a dominant role is a guide. It's a person who leads someone else throughout a scene, throughout a moment, or a phase in their life, and I love learning from that as well. It's mutual. Just because I'm the dominant doesn't mean that I don't pick up nuances from different people when I play with them, and I love that about being able to recognize things that I felt, things that I've muttered, animalistic sounds that I've created when I used to bottom. And I'm not ashamed that that's where I started. honestly, I'm actually proud that I was able to experience that side, because I know exactly what a moan feels like versus groan feels like, and I can read people's bodies better, especially because I know what stinging feels like. I know what thuddy feels like. I know what pain sluts love. I know what people who are very light can take. Yes, people differ from one to the other, but the fact that there's a consistent range of, oh, that's too hard, and I can hear that in that person's body, or they're starting to sweat a lot, so I'm going to ease back on it because they're not saying anything, but I know that they're heating up, they're getting clammy, sweat's dripping down their face. I can read all of those things, and I wouldn't have been able to do that without my experience bottoming. Even when I was bottoming, I never submitted myself to anybody. And that's because A, I didn't find anyone worthy of my submission and giving myself completely to them. B, that wasn't my goal in life. I didn't want to have a master. I didn't want to have a mistress. I just wanted a feel of what BDSM could be for me and what it was for other people, and see where I would go from there. And see, now that I'm looking back on my life, I don't know if there is a time when I was very submissive to anybody. Maybe, I really can't think of any. I was defiant towards my parents. I was defiant towards teachers. I was defiant towards a lot of people in my life, and that characteristic has grown. I've obviously matured over the years, and it's translated into my dominance. So that's all I have for today. I hope this made some sense. I don't think that people should be ashamed of bottoming or wanting to try switching roles, because power exchange, again, is very fluid, and people evolve over time. Some people who were dominants for years and years maybe got really tired of it, and they met someone who they could submit to, and so for them, they totally switched. And that's perfectly fine. There is nothing wrong with that. Just because you were a dominant doesn't mean that, oh, well, I'm not a dominant anymore. It's like, you can't lock yourself into these categories and these labels, because once you do that, you'll get your head stuck in the, oh, but it should be, and I hate that term, should be, and I still use it. I'm trying hard to be better at not using that word, because there is no should. There either is or there isn't, and the things that help you get to that point obviously define part of who you are. So, like, comment, subscribe on my links below, and I will catch you next time. Be safe and have fun.